Guys, what's up? It is Eric. I just wanted to show you something I'm using for a worship set this weekend, and I'm using the Behringer Deepmind 12, and this thing has a lot of really interesting possibilities because it has built-in reverb, has a bunch of great effects, and it also has a lot of hands-on controls. So let me just show you real quick what I'm doing. So the Deepmind 12 has some really cool things that it can do. I've just created a custom patch, just named it Pad 1. The first thing I've done that makes this a little bit different from some of the other people that I've seen using this is I have put the mod wheel to control the reverb. So the way you do that, you go under modulation matrix or mod, and then you go down to your mod wheel and you set it for effects for mix. So that's the first thing I've done. Second thing, I've kept it incredibly simple to start. So what I've got is just a sawtooth wave going at, I think it's 8. Yep. So that's the first thing. Second thing, I've set up my oscillator 2 to have a lower pitch. So the pitch is all the way down, the level's all the way down, so that I can bring this in as I like. Now, here's where it gets really fun. I've set my frequency to 0 and my resonance to 0, and then I've set my envelope to a low setting, like around 4. And I've also put my VCF, voltage control filter, for those who don't know. I put it at a setting of 0, like maybe a half, 1, 1.5, I don't know, somewhere in there. Release at 0, and then decay in the middle at about 3. And what this does is it creates a really plucky sound. And the more I bring up the envelope, the more plucky you get. So then what is really cool about this, particularly for worship sets, is I can move the mod wheel and create this really, really nice sound. Or I can make it very not spacey and drop this down to 0. So that's really handy to begin with. Next thing, I'm going to bring the envelope down to 0, and then you can't see it in this video, but I have my a regular expression pedal hooked into the back of the Deepmind here, and that controls frequency. The way you set that is in the modulation matrix. You just set it as foot control and then VCF freak for frequency. And now I have control using that expression wheel. So this takes a little getting used to, but it's an incredible feature because it allows you to have 2 hands on your keyboard while controlling the frequency. And that is a huge advantage when you're playing live. Now, I'm going to play just a little bit of The Way by Pat Barrett, and I'll show you an example of how I'm going to kind of combine those. Now, at a certain point, I'm also going to bring up the level on the second oscillator to kind of create a thicker sound like this. I'll also use the unison detune to bring that up a little bit to give it thickness. So the thickness, I've made this a unison 2 under poly, so I'm triggering 2 voices. You can see that down here, like that. So that's going to create some thickness, almost like a detuned effect at certain parts. So again, I'll be using all of these knobs in combination. It takes some getting used to. The only other thing I'll be putting in will probably be the noise level. I'll bring the noise level up just a little bit, like for some sweeps and things like that. Okay, so now the rest is just me doing a playthrough.
Through every battle